so that we should sit down with each other. I have never had a Sunni brother over the last 27 years who came to me and kindly said, you know, I really don't understand. Why do you guys pray Iraq? What I had people who come to me and say, you guys are mushrik, you pray for Iraq. You see the playing with words? But if we have love truly for each other, honesty with each other, I would feel comfortable because I have, brother, this is the honest truth. I feel more safe talking to a Christian or a Jew, asking them tough questions about their faith, than I go to a Sunni brother and ask him. Because we're emotional. We're so emotional. Brother, the African American Muslim movement here is very respectable. We can learn something from it. There are Shia African American brothers and there are Sunni African American brothers. They don't have strife between them. Why? Because they love each other. They have the same suffering. They have the same values. But we back there, we have been taught, don't talk about it, therefore fight over it. And that's the problem that we have. I know this is a hard message to deliver, but unless we do this, brother, we will continue to be in state of denial and perpetuate the status quo. And anybody can put a match and it just lights up between us.
I think the brother, just one quick point here, the brother makes a beautiful point about the rock, the turba, which the Shia use. A simple example, and I think you mentioned a point, you alluded possibly, I misunderstood, but you said a lot of this stuff is cultural stuff, possibly cultural. What's important for us to understand, that you're correct, there are people who have included in their so-called religion cultural entities. And therefore, we should not accept those if they violate the basic principles of the religion. Otherwise, culture is perfectly fine, because the Quran mentions that. What's important for us, as a practical approach, between a Shia looking at a Sunni or a Sunni looking at a Shia, is when you see something different, let's say I'm a Shia and I see a Sunni doing something in their prayer, which I don't do, I should not say that's a cultural thing of the Sunnis. I should talk to the Sunni, as my brother's been mentioning, and ask him, excuse me, I noticed you did that. Why do you do this? Did the Prophet do this? And if the brother says, no, he didn't do it, but somebody else did it afterwards, and I think it's important, he said, wait, hold on a second. You can't be doing that. That's an inclusion. But if he says to me, no, the Prophet did it. I said, do you have your source? He said, yes, here it is. Can I validate it? If it's validated, I'd be the loser not to do it. Because if my Prophet did it, and it's done on the other school, and I'm not doing it, then I'm missing out. So I think both sides should be asking, you use this rock. Why do you use this? Did the Prophet use this? That's the answer. Every question should be asked. Did the Prophet do this? Or did he allow it? Or did he not forbid this? Okay, do it this way. It becomes a beautiful discussion where we now we understand what we are, because we're still understanding each other, we're sharing, and we're learning from each other. And I think the process is very healthy.
You know, brother, we have an obligation to answer your question, by the way, about the rock, because it bothers you. Inshallah, I'll give you a quick answer about that. That it probably wouldn't bother you anymore. You wouldn't use it, but it wouldn't bother you anymore. In Tariq al-Yaqubi, if you go, when the Prophet ﷺ built the very first masjid, we all know what that first masjid was. Can anyone give me the answer for that? Quba. And the masjids at the time of the Prophet, at that time, they didn't have roofs. Have you gone to Hajj, brother? No. It is, inshallah, you'll go. And it is so hot, it's really unbelievably hot. So what the Sahaba used to do, they started putting their clothes, when they make sujood, because their foreheads would burn, they started putting their clothes down. The Prophet said, no, you can't do that, your salah is batil. Either use the rocks, and they started actually turning the rocks inside and out, because at the bottom they're cold. And the Prophet said, no, you don't have to do that, just get the leaves of the date trees, sa'f al-nakhl, and use it. So Shia say, see, we have to use something from the earth. Also, there is an authentic hadith, both Shias and Sunnis agree on, that the Prophet ﷺ says, جُعَلَتْ لِيَ الْأَرْضَ مَسْجِدًا وَطَهُورًا, that the ground was made for me, masjid, so I can make sujood on it, and tahura, so I can make tayammum on it. Now, there are a lot of other explanations behind this, but I just want to give you a quick synopsis. It is proven in history that the Prophet ﷺ used to carry something with him that's called khumura, in a bag. It's called khumura. Khumura is a piece of clay. Why? Because he liked to have something clean, and he has to make sujood on something from the ground. And that comes from the Quran, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, مِنْهَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ وَفِيهَا نُعِيدُكُمْ وَمِنْهَا نُخْرِجُكُمْ تَارَةً أُخْرَى. So that from the ground we created you, to it we shall bring you back, and from it we shall raise you again. So Shia say that you have to make salah on earth or something from earth. That's the reason we do it, brother. We don't worship rocks. I know you don't believe that we worship rocks, but that's what some people say.
By the way, nobody has ever worshipped an idol by putting the idol under their head.
Yeah.